And welcome to Technology Tap. I'm Professorjrod. In this episode, we're going to do security plus questions again and talk about Technology Tap Premium. Let's get to it. All right, welcome to Technology Tap. Again, my name is Professorjrod. For those who don't know me, we're going to be doing security plus questions. But before that, we are going to do some housekeeping, as I like to call it. We are going to talk about Technology Tap Premium, which is a service that I'm offering, $5 a month, is for us to be able to communicate offline, via Zoom, and talk about the CompTIA exams, what obstacles are you facing, what issues are you having, what exam are you going, are you having trouble getting a job, are you having trouble doing a resume? We could talk about all that on Technology Tap Premium. It's gonna, it'll be a live, Zoom stuff that we're doing. Also, I want to do like a free premium, one-on-one thing. If you're interested, email me, professorjrod@gmail.com. So what I want to do is do an introduction. You email me that you're interested. I'll send out the Zoom link. You pop on. We talk about, this is for everyone. We'll talk about CompTIA. We'll talk about a little bit about myself, my background. We'll do a little bit, talk about you, talk about any issues that you're having. That why you want to do IT, if you're failing, maybe somebody out there is failing multiple times the CompTIA exam, we can talk about why that's happening and see if we can help you. So I want to do that in May, and I want to do it on a Sunday in the afternoon. That way we hit, West Coast, and we hit Europe. We got a lot of Europe fans out there. Shout out to my European fans. And, we can get all involved. But I need, I don't want to do it with one or two people. So if you're interested, email me at professorjrod@gmail.com. The link will be in the show notes. And, we can start building this community together. All right. So today we're going to do some security plus questions. Let's start with number one. A security analyst is reviewing application logs to determine the source of a breach and locates the following log. Now, this is going to be difficult to read. So, again, if you can follow along, I'll put the link in the show notes. And you can follow along via the website. It's https www.comptia.com/log.php ? ID equals open quote parentheses 20 or parentheses 20 quote 1 equals 1. Which of the following has been observed? DLL injection, API attack, SQL injection, or XSS, cross-site scripting? I'll read it again. A security analyst is reviewing application logs to determine the source of a breach and locates the following log. https www.comptia.com/login.php ? ID equals quote percentage sign 20 or percentage sign 20 quote 1 equals quote 1. Which of the following has been observed? DLL injection, API attack, SQL injection, or cross-site scripting? Give you a couple of seconds, and the answer is SQL. SQL is a type of cyber attack that involves injecting malicious code into database through vulnerable web applications. The malicious code is typically designed to manipulate or extract data from the database, allowing the attacker to gain unauthorized access to sensitive information. The log provided in the question appears to be a URL for a login page with a string of text appended to the end. The string that includes text, or the quote 1 equals 1, which is common syntax used in SQL injection attack. This indicates that they are trying an SQL attack and against the website. So that's the answer. All right, question number 2. And again, you can follow all this right at professorjrod@gmail.com. I'm sorry, professorjrod.com. And there was a link. I'll put in a link in the show notes. You'll see it. It's a Security Plus page. Security Manager has tasked the Security Operations Center with locating all web servers that respond to an unsecure protocol. Which of the following commands can analysts run to find the requested servers? A. NSLOOKUP 10.10.10.0. B. Nmap-P80 10.10.10.0/CIDR24. Path ping 10.10.10.0 minus P80, port 80. NE minus L minus P, port 80. I'll read it again. A security manager has tasked the Security Operations Center with locating all web servers that respond to an unsecure protocol. That's your big hint right there, unsecure. Which of the following commands can an analyst run to find the requested server? NSLOOKUP 10.10.10.0, Nmap-P 80 10.10.10.0 CIDR24, path ping 10.10.10.0-P80, NE minus L minus P80. So NSLOOKUP you can eliminate right away because it doesn't show any unsecure ports. Right? The unsecure port in this question is 80, HTTP. So let me give you a couple of seconds to think about it. All right. The answer is B, Nmap. Nmap or network mapper is a network discovery and security auditing tools mainly used to find services, hosts, and open ports on a network. In this case, Nmap would check for HTTP port 80. So the NSLOOKUP, of course, obtains DNS record. Path ping provides information about network latency packets. And NE command, I'm not familiar with that command, to be honest. Yep, I don't know everything, guys. All right. Question 3. The chief compliance officer from a bank has approved a background check policy for all new hires. Which of the following is the policy most likely protecting against? A. Preventing any current employee siblings from working at the bank to prevent nepotism. B. Hiring an employee who's been convicted of theft to adhere to industry compliance. C. Filtering applications who have added false information to resumes so they appear better qualified. Or D. Ensuring no new hires have worked at other banks that may be trying to steal customer information. I'll read it again. The chief compliance officer from a bank has approved a background check policy for all new hires, which is typical nowadays for almost any company. Which of the following is the policy most likely protecting against? A. preventing any current siblings from working at the bank to prevent nepotism. B, hiring an employee who's been convicted of theft to adhere to industry compliance. C, filtering applications who have added false information to resumes so they appear better qualified. And D, ensuring no new hires have worked at the other banks that would be trying to steal customer information. Well, which ones can we eliminate right away? Well, D, ensuring no new hires worked at other banks. People hire people from other banks all the time. So, I mean, that's just life, right? So, I've never heard of another bank not hiring from another bank, though I'm sure that could happen, but very unheard of. And A, preventing any current employee sibling from working at the bank to prevent nepotism. What if, I have my last name and my sister has her married name? How are they going to know that we're relatives, right? They're not going to know that. So that's not going to prevent nepotism. So you're left with B and C. So filtering applications who have added false information to resumes so they appear qualified. Now, let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen. Who has not put something in their resume that's not 100% true? Right? I mean, listen, saying that you graduated from college when you didn't graduate from college, that's a big no-no. I know before in the 90s, it was very, very popular to do that. But can't do that anymore. Education checks are very cheap to do and very quick. So they'll find out in a heartbeat that you didn't graduate from college. You could, say you could manipulate the resume in a way where if they didn't see it, that's not your fault. For example, you could say that you've instead of that I passed the CompTIA exam, you could say, took CompTIA exam, right? A plus exam course, or you could put, exam, and that will get it by the filters. And if they don't see it, that you didn't really take it. I've seen that happen actually, when someone got hired and the person thought that they took the A plus exam, and then they said, but they took the A plus exam. I said, let me see the resume. And when I looked at the resume, it didn't say that they took it. It just says that they took a class. So it went by the filters. So the answer is B, hiring an employee who's been convicted of theft to adhere to industry compliance. At a bank, you don't want to hire somebody who's stealing, who has been convicted of stealing. All right, next, an organization has decided to purchase an insurance policy because a risk assessment determined the cost to remediate the risk is greater than the 5-year cost of the insurance policy. The organization is enabling what kind of risk? A, risk avoidance. B, risk acceptance. C, risk mitigation. Or D, risk transference. I'll read it again. An organization has decided to purchase an insurance policy because a risk assessment determined that the cost to remediate the risk is greater than the 5-year cost of the insurance policy. The organization is enabling what? Risk avoidance, risk acceptance, risk mitigation, or risk transference. I'll give you a couple of seconds. All right, so the answer is, believe it or not, you might think the way it's worded that it's mitigation, but it's not. It's transference. It's actually transference, where you're transferring the risk to a third party, right? In cybersecurity, this can be utilized through cybersecurity insurance. Cyber insurance generally covers business liability for data breach involving sensitive customer information, such as account number, credit card numbers, health records, etc. So Yeah, you may think it's mitigation, but it's transference. You're transferring the risk to someone. And we all do that when we drive, right? We all have to have car insurance when we drive. It's the same thing. Risk transference. All right, risk avoidance is a strategy that eliminates risk by avoiding activities that would expose themselves to the risk. Risk mitigation, the practice of reducing the impact of the risk through preventive and reactive planning. And risk acceptance is when the business individual accepts the potential loss from the risk. Generally occurs when the business or individual feels that the risk does not warrant the countermeasures. It might be too expensive, right? Like the example I like to give: if you're on the first floor of a building and they tell you when it rains really hard, it floods. So we're gonna charge you $1,000 a month, or you could move up to the third floor where we charge you $4,000 a month. So you have 48,000 versus 12,000, and you doubt you're gonna get $36,000 in damages. So you take the risk and you stay on the first floor. Because if it rains hard and if you get flooded, it might only be $10,000 in damages. So you take that risk. You accept the risk not to pay money for the rent. All right, next. The Chief Information Security Officer requested a report on potential areas of improvement following a security incident. Which of the following incident response processes is the CISO requesting? A, lesson learned. B, preparation. C, detection. D, containment. And E, root cause analysis. The Chief Information Security Officer requested a report on potential areas of improvement following a security incident. Which of the following incident response processes the CISO requesting? So, keyword here is following a security incident. That means something already happened, right? Something already happened. So the answer is what? The answer is lesson learned. And if you think about the phases in incident response, right? You have preparation. The organization plans out how they will respond to the attack. This can involve second one, identification, detecting and determining whatever account has occurred. C, containment. Once a threat has been identified, the organization must limit or prevent any further damage. Eradication, the removal of the threat. Recovery, restoring systems affected by the incident. And 6, lesson learned, which is the answer, where the organizations review the incident response and prepare for a future attack. Lessons learned. All right, very good. Number 5. A company is providing security. Actually, this is number 6. Last one. So the company is providing security awareness training regarding the importance of not forwarding social media messages from unverified sources. Which of the following risks would this training help to prevent? A, hoax. B, spams. C, identity fraud. And D, credential harvesting. I'll read it again. A company is providing security awareness training regarding a company's providing security awareness training regarding the importance of not forwarding social media messages from unverified sources. Which of the following risks would this training help prevent? A, hoax. B, spams. C, identity fraud. Or D, credential harvesting. Which one? All right, this is a tough one, but it's actually A. So the key phrase in this question is unverified sources, which is the main idea of hoaxes, right? The main idea principle of the question is to avoid spreading messages that has not been verified as the truth. This is to reduce hoax or misinformation from spreading, which are also primarily spread via social media. And we saw that specifically through Facebook and now Twitter through the election. Spam is for instant message. I know that's probably what a couple of people thought. Spam is for instant messages, spam, and is seen as a form of unsolicited messages on an instant message platform like Instagram. From CompTIA's perspective, instant messages, DMs, and social media messages are two entirely different things. Also, the company wouldn't do training on spam, most likely, because they are, usually one-on-one. So they usually direct it towards you privately. Where hoaxes, they're all over. They spread fast. Right? A lot of you have seen. I know I've done it when, particularly somebody older says, "Hey, I heard this, and this," and I'll be like, "Where did you hear that from? Facebook?" That's the old joke, right? Can't believe everything you read. Even that now applies even to the internet. Can't believe everything that you read, right? You gotta read your own sources. Don't just stick to one person's opinion as fact. You have to go out there and do your own research, right? All right, just a reminder, again, if you want to do this one-on-one sessions in May, I'm looking at a Sunday in May where we can all get together for free. This will be for free for about an hour. I'll send out the Zoom link. If I need at least 10 response to 10 people to email me at professorjrod@gmail.com. And then I'll set it up, but I need at least 10 people. All right, that's going to do it for today. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate every single one of you who is listening. And remember, if you want to get in contact with me, I have Instagram now, Professorjrod, and I'm on my emails, professorjrod@gmail.com. This has been Little Chacha Productions, art by Sarah, music by Joe Kim. You can reach me at professorjrod@gmail.com and Instagram at professorjrod.